So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, wherever you're joining from. Welcome to Tushita Meditation Center. So my name is Thubten Tenpa, and I'm going to be leading this session today. So today we're going to be doing an analytical meditation on stages of the path, Lamrim. And our topic today will be Death and Impermanence. So, as I've mentioned before, the stages of the path encompass all of the teachings of the Buddha. So by meditating on these stages of the path as they were laid out and composed by Master Lama Tsong-Khapa in the 14th century, then we effectively meditate on the teachings directly of the Buddha, because there's no aspect of Lamrim that does not include the teachings of the Buddha. And by meditating on these stages of the path, of course, naturally we get closer to enlightenment, as these help us to transform our minds. And so it's extremely important for our lives. The purpose of our life is to transform our minds and our thought in order to achieve liberation from our conditioned existence. So we'll just take a few moments just to settle in to our environment. So hopefully we've chosen a conducive place to do our meditation session. So it should be bright and airy and free from as much distraction as possible. So meaning noises and as much activity surrounding us as possible. And then find a suitable seated position, depending on what suits our own needs and our own physical needs. So either on a chair, or on a cushion, on the floor, or on a bed. So we feel stable and grounded, so we should either assume the lotus posture, Vajrachana, and crossed legs, or if we're sitting on a chair, we keep our legs straight, hip width distance, and legs bent at a right angle to the floor, with our feet firmly resting flat against the floor. So if the chair is slightly too high, you can put a cushion or something under your feet. And sit slightly forward on the chair. And then, however we're seated, we rest our arms, our palms of our hands in our lap, with the right palm over the left, facing upwards, and the thumbs just gently touching, and our back straight and erect, and our shoulders back but relaxed. So our arms rounded with our elbows pointing outwards, so we have some airflow around our underarms to keep our body as fresh as possible. And then our head just tilted slightly forward, so head straight but tilted slightly forward, and the eyes gazing at the ground in front of us, but not focused on the ground, just passing through the tip of our nose and just gazing without particular focus. Our main focus comes to our breath, so make sure your jaw is relaxed, not clenched. And just take 3 long deep breaths in and out. And just control that breathing, focusing on your nostrils or on the rise and fall of your chest. And then we'll just allow our breath to take its normal pattern and rhythm, and just gently rest your attention and awareness on your breath as it enters and leaves, again either through your nostrils or through at your chest. So just for 9 rounds, we'll just focus on our breathing. Whatever sounds enter our field of awareness, just allow them to dissipate. Don't give them focus of attention. Just gently bring your attention back to your breath. This is the platform for our attention and this meditation session. And now we'll just bring our attention to our motivation, which we should adjust to make sure that it's positive motivation for this session, and as broadly encompassing others as possible, as the Mahayana great vehicle motivation. So you can think, it is a miracle that I am alive. Many people, my age and younger, have died. I have this perfect human body and life with 8 freedoms and 10 endowments. The purpose of this life, this day, and this practice is to benefit numberless sentient beings, to liberate all sentient beings from the vast ocean of samsaric sufferings, and lead all sentient beings without exception to unsurpassed enlightenment. All sentient beings who have been our kind mothers from beginningless rebirths, and they have showed us unimaginable kindness again and again from life to life. Therefore, we must generate precious mind of bodhicitta in order to repay their kindness. The mind of enlightenment by cultivating loving kindness and compassion unceasingly and indiscriminately for all sentient beings. As well as this, we meditate on the stages of the path, such as death and impermanence. So now we will do a visualization from our motivation arises in the space before us, Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. At just above the level of the crown of our head, one body length in front of us, distance. There's a square-based platform supported by 8 snow lions. Their nature is light. The platform's nature is also light. These 8 snow lions represent the 8 Bodhisattvas. And upon this platform, which is composed of jewels, colorful jewels made of light, is a lotus, variegated lotus with its petals outspread. And upon that is a sun and a moon disk lying flat. And upon that rests the holy form of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, whose form is the nature of golden light, appearing in a human aspect, 2 arms and 2 legs. His face is beautiful, radiant and serene. His mouth smiles with great kindness, and his eyes, like lotus petals, gaze down upon us with loving kindness and compassion of immeasurable. And his hair is arranged in hundreds of curls with a top knot adorned with a jewel. He has the 32 marks of a Buddha, and he is adorned with the lustrous saffron robe of an ascetic monk. His right arm extended downwards, touching the earth. The left hand resting in his lap, holding an alms bowl filled with nectar. He is surrounded by auras of light. And he is extremely pleased with us that we have generated this motivation with the intention to meditate on the stages of the path. And so we recite the lines of refuge taken from this Lama Tsong-Khapa Guru Yoga. So he embodies the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha, the 3 jewels of refuge. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. So now we will bring to mind the topic of our meditation, death and impermanence. So first we will focus on death itself. And so just gently rest your awareness, the breathing as the base, on the points as I recite them and just bring them into your awareness and see how they sit with your own understanding and experience and your own logic and reasoning. You don't have to accept them or deny them, but consider them with an investigative mind, an analytical mind. So first, death is certain. If we check that there is no person that we can think of who has ever escaped death, it is something that is guaranteed for us to meet in this life. Every person born will have to die. Also, great bodhisattvas, yogis, and even Buddha himself have showed the aspect of death. Don't think of this as such a heavy topic, because it is the reality. We have to see that it is the reality and not be burdened by it. In 100 years from now, nearly everyone alive today will be dead. Just think about that. Think of any exceptions, if you can. Just challenge these points gently with your analytical mind, analytical wisdom, reasoning. Can you find contradiction? Just see what it comes to your mind. Even the very wealthy cannot bribe death. There is no known medicine that can cure us from death. No matter how strong or powerful we make ourselves, all succumb to death. According to Buddha's experience, he observed that this human life has four, what is called the powerful rivers, the things that are unstoppable forces of this life. First is birth, the second is aging, the third, sickness, and the fourth is death. In every instance of normal human beings, there is no one who is able to escape any of these four, according to the Buddha's observations. Each breath we take we become closer to death. Death is not getting further away, neither is it standing stagnant, static. Time is always running, which brings to the next aspect of this focus of meditation is the time of death is uncertain. There is no one who can guarantee the time of death. We can guarantee death will come, but its time we cannot guarantee. Even doctors, scientists try to posit a lifespan, whether it be on a healthy person or on a sick, terminally ill person. Many have been given a prognosis of time of or estimated period before they will die from their illness. But in many cases, that has become obsolete, or at the minimum inaccurate. They may give a broad time frame, but they cannot be specific with the hour, minute, or second. There is no guarantee that we will grow old. There is no guarantee that those who we know who are sick or terminally ill will die before us. At any moment we could meet with an accident while traveling in a vehicle, walking down the street. Natural disasters occur without warning. Even perfectly, according to medical science, perfectly healthy people have been known in many cases to suddenly die of heart attacks or other unknown causes. There's no guarantee we will even be alive before the end of this meditation session. What is the purpose of analyzing these socially, especially in the West, kind or unpositive outlooks on life, but to do so, to ignore them, is ignorant to the reality. But Buddha didn't want to burden us, make us feel depressed. The purpose is we have to use this moment in the best possible way to create the cause for our successive moments in this life or in the future lives to be free from suffering. Namely, to practice Dharma. Dharma is remembering death. Dharma is remembering impermanence. Constantly. And using that for us to practice Dharma, thought transformation, transforming our suffering into happiness, to transform our present suffering into future happiness. So why? Because Dharma is, why this is motivating us to practice Dharma? Because only Dharma can help us at death or after death, but primarily at death, which is certain. We cannot take our material possessions, our families, our friends, however much reputation we've gathered or increased in our lives. This will all be left behind at the time of death. Our mind stream, as posited by the Buddha, the continuum of moments of awareness, which will continue beginninglessly and endlessly, will carry the imprints of the previous moments of awareness. So Dharma is the imprints which create causes of future happiness. Therefore, only Dharma can benefit us. Any non-virtues will only cause our future sufferings. So just rest for a moment in the points, focusing on the base of your breathing. Recognizing how that is the base of supporting this body and this life. Life is breathing out and breathing in. Or I should say breathing in and breathing out. The difference between life and death is breathing in, breathing out, and then that's it. So we will just recite the dedication verses at the end. When the doctor gives me up, when rituals no longer work, when friends have given up hope for my life, when anything I do is futile, may I be blessed to remember my Guru's instructions. Due to these merits, may I quickly attain Buddhahood and lead all living beings, without exception, into that enlightened state. Due to all my own merits of the 3 times, and the merits of all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and sentient beings, may the altruistic wish to achieve enlightenment be generated in my mind and in the mind of all sentient beings, without delay for even 1 second. And may that which has been generated be increased. So just feel very grateful for having been alive to join this session, and for taking the choice to join this session. Be thankful to yourself. And make resolve to use this wisdom or this insight that we may have attained through this session to guide us at least through the day with a positive and motivated wish to pursue Dharma as a practice and to remember death and impermanence constantly, like it's always chasing us on our back. But don't feel afraid, we have to be fearless. This is the spirit of Buddha. So the last dedication is sealing in emptiness due to the past, present, future merits collected by me, numberless Buddhas, numberless sentient beings who do not exist from their own side, but exist in mere name. May the I, which does not exist from its own side and exists in mere name, achieve that state of Buddhahood, which does not exist from its own side and exists in mere name. By myself alone, who do not exist from my own side, but exist in my name. So thank you everyone for joining online, and please try to keep your mind on this topic for the day, or as long as possible. If you can continue tomorrow when you wake up, best thing we can do when we wake up is, as Lama Rinpoche used to motivate us to start every day thinking, wow, how fortunate it is I am to be alive. I have to wake up, or I have woken up, I have to get up, and I have to use this day to benefit others, to create the causes of happiness. That's the best motivation for our day. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, then you can stay after I finish this session, and I'll be happy to answer a few brief questions. I also wanted to recommend this book, which I've mentioned last session, but I think at the end of the session the microphone somehow muted itself. Let me just stop the screen share so you can see better. So this is by Kapti Lama Rinpoche and Lama Yeshe. So this is called Lamrim year. So every day there is Lamrim. It's just one page, like on a Lamrim topic, so the stages of the path. So for example, here's day 12, so it has a passage about the particular topic for reflection, and then there's some points at the bottom for your meditation. So this has 365 days, and so every day you can read and you can contemplate every day. So it goes from Guru devotion up to the end of the path, which is the wisdom insight. So it's a good guide. And there's also, I understand, there's an app, a free app you can get for your phone, which also I think has the same content, or at least it has the same purpose. So you can check that out. It's called Lamrim Year. So thank you, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this session. It's been something meaningful for you. It's definitely been meaningful for me. So thank you, everyone. And I'll be around for a few minutes if anyone has any questions.